The abundance of daylight is the defining characteristic of June. The early morning sun, when not obscured by clouds, comes pouring in through our bedroom curtains just after 4:30 a.m. and shines through until nearly 10 o'clock at night. It is pure joy. When we first moved here, I had to have the children's curtains relined with blackout fabric so that they could fall asleep on school nights when the sun was still high enough in the sky to brighten their rooms. On weekends, and even more so once the school year is finished, our whole schedule shifts to later in the day. We often get so caught up in what we're doing in the garden or the stable yard that we don't get around to cooking dinner till 9 p.m. When we're lucky, on a clear night, we can eat outside under the twinkling lights hung along the outside of the cottage. The kids hit a cricket ball around the yard with Christopher, and I have another glass of rosé while chatting with my mother-in-law, Caroline, the matriarch of the Brooks family. She often has supper with us, having lived on her own for more than 40 years since her husband died, and she is excellent company. Charming, witty, extremely knowledgeable on countless subjects, and the least judgmental person I think I've ever met. Those warm evenings are some of the best moments of the year on our farm, and I've come to value them as they aren't exactly typical of an English summer. Equally likely is that it's too chilly or wet to eat outside even once in the whole month of June. With the extra sunlight in the day, we get a lot more done in the garden in June. I fill in the herb beds with annuals like flat-leaf parsley and cilantro, and there are plenty of flowers to cut. Allium, sage blossoms, and honeysuckle are my favorites, to brighten up the house on the inside. I'm also consumed by elderflower in June. We have a huge tree in our garden and many more around the farm, especially down the hill near the field where the pigs live. Once they put out their lacy white blossoms, they are ready to be picked, soaked, and mixed with sugar and lemon juice to make elderflower cordial, a typical English syrup you can add to anything from sparkling water to a gin fizz. I make as many bottles as I can and give them out as gifts when we go to someone's house for a meal. I guess it's kind of odd that as the American girl from the big city, I'm giving out a very amateur version of a typically English recipe to typically English people, but so be it. I enjoy it. In the garden, Christopher and I have pretty gender-stereotypical roles. I'm much more involved with the flowers, herbs, and vegetables that grow in close proximity to the house, and he is much more involved with anything that requires a machine or a very large shovel. By the time the growth season reaches June, I'm already tired of hearing the mower whizzing manically around the farmyard on a quiet Sunday morning. If we were paying a gardener to do the job, it would happen during the week when the racket wouldn't so obviously disrupt the peace. But mowing is arguably Christopher's greatest passion. He does it all himself. Not just our own lawns around the house, but also the orchard and the verges throughout the entire farmyard. Once the mowing is done, the strimmer comes out to tidy the edges along the garden beds and stone walls. I really am so grateful for all this free maintenance. Anything involving order makes me very happy. But the strimmer's even louder than the actual mower. And sometimes I just get fed up and have to ask him to do it while we are out riding or doing errands. Anything involving a chainsaw is also a favorite task of Christopher's, except that twice now he's accidentally exposed an active bird's nest while cutting back the hedges, and both times the mother bird was so freaked out by the exposure that she abandoned the nest, which is heartbreaking, especially for Christopher, as he loves birds. So we now do our best to check the hedges before Christopher gets in there to hack away. As you can probably tell, a good dose of drama precedes the bucolic country moments I first mentioned.